Yes, I'm sharing now. It is recording, right?
Yeah, thank you.
We can see now. You can see the slide.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can proceed, Professor Maharana.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Sumanji.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm sorry for the inconvenience. So, libraries are partners of online teaching and learning in HAIs during COVID-19 and beyond. As I have been discussing earlier to this, that the libraries has always been there as supporters of the core process of teaching and learning. But today, and from a long time from now, mostly after 2000, and when we entered in, and there is a lot of developments took place, particularly the advent of internet and www, and libraries could make the resources be available online. Then miracles happened, and the libraries were on the fingertips of the users, and it was not the library as a physical place, but it was available to everyone from their personal devices. And right from those days, we have come across the new resources coming into our libraries, like e-books, e-journals, and whatnot, all kinds of magazines, reports, theses, and all kinds of other digital resources were accessible to the teachers and the students and the researchers who are involved in the core process of teaching, learning, and research in the higher education institutions. There has been a new world order for education, as I said, because of the ICT application and increased ICT applications, rather, emergence of internet and www, advanced level of education with super specializations, which actually are not possible to impart with the physical classrooms, because we are confined to the boundaries of opening of courses which are not very common kind of courses with super specializations. They started available on online mode, and new educational models came, like for lifelong learning. A professional having 2 to 3 years or 4 or 5 years of his training in his lifetime will not be able to impart his services for rest of his life. So it is required that the lifelong learning should be a process, and it was not possible for the physical classrooms and institutions to actually impart such training to the professionals because of a lot many barriers. And the important one is the physical thing. So being at a workplace, I'm not able to go to my university back or my college back to gain some more knowledge. So here where this e-learning played a role for lifelong learning, independent learning, student-centered learning. The student can choose a course of his which is applicable to his scale of understanding. So it is entirely scalable, whether it is a primary level of basic level of a course or a high level of a course. The student can choose out of the courses available. And a kind of tertiary education, we get it from the online mode. There is a tremendous growth of e-resources. You name a resource and it is available in the digital format. Lot many devices have come, readers, ebook readers, and journals, electronic theses, reports, e-magazines, electronic data bases, bibliographic databases, full text databases, and all sorts of things are now available in electronic format. They came situation like today, it is the emergency conditions. like when we are not able to access our physical library. Even at the time when the examinations are due to start, we are not able to, please move on these slides, please. We are not able to access our library when our students are going to appear the examination. So this is something which actually has a lot of impact on the whole process of teaching and learning. The next slide, please. So there we find that the UGC, the Ministry of HRD, and all state governments, the Ministry of Higher Education of state governments and at the center, and the college authorities and everyone have been actually made it clear that there has to be the online teaching. And earlier, these online applications like Zoom and Skype and Google Meet and whatever now we are this Cisco, WebEx, and all those tools, online tools that you are using, they were not very familiar to us. But when we are compelled to do that after it happened in March, then now it has become a new normal for all of us, and it is possible that we are meeting today, even though we are not available in the same place. So since we all know that libraries are locked now, users are not allowed, books are quarantined, then we have to follow the guidelines, complete our courses, even though we are not in the physical classroom, or we have to complete those classes, and sanitization of library materials are required. So therefore, we are not giving access to the physical materials in our library. Social distancing has become a norm. Avoiding crowd has become a norm to remain safe. So stop physical transactions, extend digital library facilities. So these are the new world order for education today. Next slide, please. So here, next slide, please. Next slide. So education is the most affected sector under COVID-19. And it is true that because the students are away from the classrooms, the libraries are closed, books are not being used. What I said is, so the impact is much. And consequently, that the UGC and the Ministry of HRD and other state governments now thinking that whether the examinations are to be held or not. So the whole process of academics has come to a very uncommon situation today. So here we felt the need of libraries as a central place for impacting teaching and to supporting and to integrating with all those resources with them. So therefore, every other day earlier to the first part of the pandemic, that every day we were getting some guidelines, and the students were advised to consult the online sources, either they are from library or from external links. And the libraries are advised to put up their links to the online resources, the study materials, or learning resources, electronic books, and other such materials for preparing for their examinations, for their personal reading, for research and everything. And the libraries has been doing this similar task for a long time from now. Probably 2 decades now we have been engaged in this experience in the changing landscape of libraries, as I can say. That there has been a tremendous change in the concept of libraries. So earlier, the concept was that libraries were simple archives where the materials, whether they are stone inscriptions or the clay things, clay writings, and all those palm leaves, and later part we have printed documents, CD-ROMs and everything. We had a repository, and gradually the libraries concept changed. Now the libraries are, the physical space of libraries are shrinking, and the libraries are now available online. So we started calling the libraries as digital libraries and cyber libraries or virtual libraries. And the technology also changed. The technology has, there is a radical change in the library technologies. We have automation softwares. The entire process of library is automated. I can check my uh, catalog, library catalog, the availability of books from my mobile phone, which earlier was not was possible, and I can get all sorts of things from the library from my small handheld devices. And because the digital nature of the libraries, they were all integrated. They were not, like, digital libraries as the basic feature of the digital library. They are a network resources. So therefore, when the libraries are in a network, then there has to be a lot of specifications, and there has to be a lot of standards to be followed. So therefore, over a period of time, standards in technological developments, specifications, standard formats have also emerged. And the libraries, as I can see here, they proceeded from archives to now in an ecosystem. They were simple archives, were putting in things together, and at the time of need, they were retrieving those resources to the users. Then came documentation centers, where we focused on documenting them so that the retrieval can be faster, because simple archiving will not be helping in retrieval or discovery of those materials. So therefore, the documentation work was given importance, and documentation centers came. Thereafter, we started libraries as a platform. So all sorts of things can happen in a single window. That is what the concept of a platform. So the library management systems came. Library management systems, they provided a single platform where you can issue the books, you can return the books, you can generate your reports, you can interact with the library staff, you can get the reply to a reference query. All those things happen through a single window. And thereafter, the ecosystem, library has now become an ecosystem. The concept is that the library is not a single entity with all those all its services and resources available through a single platform. Rather, it has become one of such entities in the whole system of information ecosystem. It is connected to the to several other information systems with it. It is connected to the e-learning systems, where it is an integral part, and it is interconnectivity has made the libraries as an ecosystem. Then the nomenclatures have changed. As I said, new nomenclatures for librarians also have changed. The librarians are now being called as information scientists, because they are dealing with all sorts of automation work and the system aspects of the library, and information analysts, digital librarians, librarians, analysts, and all those new nomenclatures are being now accredited with the librarians. There are new roles. So change in the type of library materials also happen. As I said, from clay tablets to those days, those older civilization, Mesopotamian civilization and all other civilizations, to now we are the most advanced electronic resources we are having. Next slide, please. So we are already there in online mode of education, not by forced by this pandemic. Pandemic is one such incident or one such situation where it compelled us to go for it. But earlier also there was online education provisions were there, and many universities were having their online courses. Online education is electronically supported learning that relies on the internet for student-teacher interaction and distribution of the materials, reading materials. And parallelly, we call them computer-based training, web-based training, internet-based training. So this can be synchronous and asynchronous. Synchronous, which happens simultaneously on a real time basis, and asynchronous, which happened in an offline mode. There are discussion forums, charts, webinars like this, interactive whiteboards, online educational resources, which we call nowadays MOOCs and other things, e-learning platforms, virtual classrooms are now the new developments in this field. And the benefits, next slide please, and the benefits of the e-learning, that all we know that of course this gives a quality in this sense that whatever you are locally available to us, whether a teacher, whether the books available in our library, whether the teachers available in our institutions, we earlier were confined to that. But this provision of online learning has given given the opportunity to access to quality education. Prior to this MPTL, there was a meeting of board of directors of IITMs and other institutions where it was said that the engineering education in the country is pathetically poor, and where it was taken very seriously. And as an outcome of that discussion, that seminar, this MPTL started, because an engineering college, because of its locational limitations and the limitations with the available faculty and resources, the students are not able to get access to quality education, access to quality resources, learning resources. So that is why this MPTL was started, even though we are in a small college, small engineering college, somewhere in a remote place. But they have access to the lectures given by the professors in IITs, and they're all available on for online streaming from YouTube and other means. So that was the beauty of this e-learning. Education is affordable, convenience and flexibility for learner, as I was telling, that we can choose the level which we want actually, depending upon the students. It's a student-centric one. Then reducing the environmental impact, of course, and cost is less. Self-learning ability is there. One can learn, because nowadays, as the UGC has given a clear-cut guideline that some portion of the course has to be given for self-learning purpose, self-study. It will not be taught in the classroom, but the students will learn by their own. So here, this online learning thing will help them for self-learning. Tutoring can be done at any time, anywhere. Location and distance are not an issue now. Asynchronous learning, students can access online materials at any time. Then synchronous e-learning allows real-time interaction between students and the instructor. Online materials can be easily updated. So these are the benefits out of many. These are some of the benefits of e-learning, which we are not able to have in a classroom or a traditional mode of learning. Then comes the case of libraries. How libraries connecting to e-learning? Ajay, next slide, please. Next slide, please. So how libraries, next slide, please. So the libraries are connected to e-learning by their access to relevant information. So you for quality education, you need to develop a repository of or a collection of quality and relevant information, so that the teaching and learning process can be effective. Next slide, please. Content integration for teaching, learning, research, and outreach. Libraries have been doing this. They are integrating the content. So if you are writing an academic assignment, so what are the sources from where you can integrate the content? The libraries are now engaged in the content integration aspects of it in teaching, learning, research, and outreach. If you are researcher doing a research on a particular thing, then there are various sources. Some of the resources which are available locally in our library, and many of them which are not available and externally available. So compiling them together, giving them links, putting them and indexing them, and making them available for the access of the researchers, the learners. That is what is the content integration. Then the libraries are doing it, and which is very vital for e-learning purpose. Integration of access points. There are a lot many things the libraries are subscribing to. So multiple databases, many publisher sources, various open access resources, and lot many platforms and resources are available. So unless you integrate them together and put them and give them a single window access, so it will take a lot of time of the user to move around from one resource to another and to get lost in it. So integration of the sources, access point, integration of LMS, the learning management systems. There are learning management systems where the entire education process, starting from the registration to the teaching, the assignments, then the examination, the evaluation, and the award of certificates. The entire process is on online. So this kind of LMS systems are integrated very well with the library resources. Then supports digital scholarship, organization, repackaging, sharing, and preservation. This is what the libraries are doing. Organization. Unless it is organized, the resources are organized, then it is very difficult for this scholar or the researchers to get the required information in time. So they will be spending rather wasting a lot of their time in search of information. Repackaging them together, sharing those resources, and preserving for future use. These are the things that libraries are doing in support of the e-learning. Customization. Customization is one important thing, because you have hundreds of students, teachers, that they belong to different subjects and faculties. They have different assignments are given, academic assignments are given, research, there are different research projects they're working in. So one library and one kind of resources will not fit all of them. So therefore, the customization is very important, which the libraries are doing and addressing the e-learning needs of the users. Virtual reference services has also been a new service for libraries today. You need not have to go to the approach the reference desk to the reference librarian to get anything. It is all available online. Creation of digital knowledge repositories. There are a lot of, as universities and colleges, they are not only accessing, consuming the information, rather they are also producing a lot of new information in terms of research, in terms of academic assignments, PhDs, and all those things. So it is one of the very important activity of the libraries to create their own digital repositories for showcasing their research and letting the others to have access these valuable sources. Digital right management is another aspect of the libraries, which they are doing it by registering their users, allowing or disallowing their access, and all those right management things they are doing it. Um, E-learning, a new domain of digital library sources. Next slide, please. Next slide. Digital library, as you know, that it has been there from 90s, and as you all know that this concept of digital library came into being or conceptualized by Vannevar Bush for the first time in 1945, and thereafter it took different shape, and now digital libraries are now in their peak, and the digital libraries are the real solution for e-learning today. They have four vital aspects, as you can see from this slide. They have digital resources, the one part, which create the building block for the digital libraries. Here, all sorts of digital objects are there: text, graphics, images, audio, video, artifacts, computer programs, and everything. Then you have the technological infrastructure through which you make the digital library to be accessible: the computing infrastructure, storage devices, communication channels, the internet, intranet, and web portals through which the digital libraries could be accessible. Then experience and expertise, the knowledge and skills and the competencies of the practitioners to operate, manage, and maintain the digital library system is another vital aspect. And digital library services, the integrated access, online retrieval, online delivery, interlibrary loan, resource sharing, training and orientation. These are the aspects of a digital library. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. As you can see in the next slide, that at the one side we have the e-library, and the other side we have the e-learning center or the CMS available, and they are closely integrated with each other, because for each of these courses we need to have the course materials and the learning resources. Otherwise the whole e-learning system will be incomplete. So therefore the CMS can be entirely integrated into the library management system to have an effective e-learning system. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So information repackaging is one of the important areas of the digital library for the success of e-learning or online learning. Here we can have information repackaging from several sources. We can get information from various sources, maybe textbooks, maybe courses, maybe presentations, maybe audios and videos. They're all put together, combined together, repackaged, and can be distributed or can be hosted according to the subjects, according to the departments, the subjects, courses, and even to the units of these courses, so that an online user can find relevant documents, relevant material from the platform itself. Next slide, please. Here some of the slides that I have from some sources. This is from IIT Kharagpur. Here you can see that how the libraries are partnering with the entire process of e-learning. Here, apart from the subscribed sources, they have a lot of resources, as you can see here. The online library services, which they have developed from their local collections, faculty publications there, abstracts of PhDs, audio visual things which they have developed there with the faculty members and research scholars. Then open access links to open access content like NPTEL, open access books from various sources, open access journals, and so many other such scholarly resources have been linked on their library portal itself. So the online learners will find their required materials easily from visiting their library portal. Then online courses and certificates. Um, this Ministry of HRD Swayam online course is a link there. So if you want to take, if any of the students or the scholar or a teacher of a college or university want to take a course on MOOCs through Swayam, can get it a link from the library website itself. And such other courses like NPTEL and all other related online courses, links are available on the library website. Next slide, please. Then we have on our library sites, we have this online references. If you have a specific query, you can ask the librarian in an offline mode like this, or you can have a live chat with them and you can get the things immediately. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Yeah. So this is a screenshot that I've taken from IIT Mumbai, where you can see that the remote access to e-resources is one of the very important things and important technology now the libraries are having, that most of the things that we have, and as per the policy, library policy, that the databases and the e-resources that we are subscribing that are to be available to our bona fide users only. So usually they are given access to them in an institution-wide network through a LAN called intranet. But when we are going out of the campus, you cannot have access to them. But the students need access to these resources, particularly at a time when they are not available in their campus, they are available in their homes, and they need access to the libraries. This remote access helps them. So they are given their ID and password. Through that, they can connect to their library and access the library as they were doing it in their campuses. Next slide, please. And the library catalogs are available now in online mode, and there are mobile apps where you can check the library whether a book is available or not. And there are catalogs available, union catalogs, like the implement is having a IndCat, where number of university catalogs are merged together, and you can find the union catalog of all the university libraries, and you can search it online. So the catalogs can be searched, the resources can be searched online. This is also going to help the student, because they need to find out the required documents in their area. The next slide. The libraries are going ahead to support the research also. Next slide, please. In the research support, as you can see, that which was traditionally libraries were not actually doing it. They were doing it, but not the services which are directly nowadays being done. They were not there in the libraries earlier. Next slide, please. Move on this slide, please.
Next slide.
Yeah. So as you can see that this is, I have taken from NIT Rourkela, maybe. Yeah, NIT Rourkela. Here you can find the resource support materials they're giving. They're giving access to the Turnitin. So it's very important for the integrity and the research ethics. So before you submit an assignment, might be a research thesis or master level thesis or a class assignment or anything, you have to check for the plagiarized content. So therefore you need to know the the Turnitin. It is very much in the as an integral part of the whole research process. So libraries have been imparting information relating to Turnitin, and they're giving all kinds of how to create an account, how to run your check, similarity check with Turnitin. All those things are they're guiding. Then they're guiding with the citation databases like Scopus and Web of Science, so that the researchers should know that how they can impact with their research, and what is the impact of their research so far as the international citation databases are concerned. So this is very important so far as the research process is concerned, and libraries are taking a central place for imparting this information. Then Grammarly, Mendeley is for this reference management. So reference management is a important activity in the entire research process, because what you have given, it won't have its authenticity unless you give a reference, authentic reference to them. So the referencing itself is a very complicated process, because whole thing you are doing, and you will be missing the link at the end, and it takes a lot of time for the referencing. So libraries are now training in these areas for reference management. Then there are other things which actually are very important for the researchers, like the ORCID ID and other the researchers ID and other things, where they can make themselves visible, and the visibility would bring them citations. So the libraries have been doing now as a partner of the whole research process in academic institutions. Can I go to the next slide, please? So, and then another is that the institutional repository. Institutional repository, as you all been knowing nowadays, that every institution, the UGC and also other DST and other institutions now making it a mandate. CSIR, ICSSR and other are now making it a mandate that institutions should have their own digital archive, where the e-prints of the faculty publications, research scholars publications are to be archived there. So it helps in a lot for your research credibility, and it can be discovered, people can use it. If they can use it, they will cite it. So therefore the institutional repositories have been there for a long time from now, and giving a lot of impact so far as the research communication is concerned. And this is being done by the libraries, institutional repositories. Next slide, please. And the libraries have moved forward to actually integrate themselves more into the core process of the pedagogical system of the higher education institutions, where, as you can see, I have given one such example of one library where they have actually created that licensing program with the departments in the entire teaching and learning process, so that it will not be only entirely, library will not only be a entirely tertiary institution, but it should be a part of the entire process. So what starting from the design of the curriculum to the impacting the courses, how to actually and tapping of different sources where the information is available, how they can be integrated together. This is very well a part of the teaching and learning system, which the libraries are now doing it with active support from the teaching faculty of the colleges and the universities. Then next slide, please. Then the libraries have also taken the benefits from the social media. As you know that social media is now is a place where you can find you can find less students in your library to college, but you find most students on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and all other social media sites. So we can use this social media sites for making them aware, orienting them, informing them, and regarding the availability of the information, courses, different types of seminars and other things. We can use it as a information communication channel for the online learners, and the libraries have been doing it. This is the Facebook of IIM Ahmedabad library, and likewise all the institutions, may it be a college or university or an institution of national importance, all of them are nowadays having the social media sites. Can I go to the next slide, please? Yeah. So, and this open access has become a norm of the day because of the open access philosophy has now been deep rooted, and because maximum of the research are being from public funded sources, so therefore they have to be openly accessible. And as a result of this philosophy, which has been adopted worldwide, the libraries are the beneficiaries of that. So we have access to very invaluable sources of information today, may it be ebooks, e-journals, theses, and other such data sets. Everything we have access freely from open access portals. And libraries have been giving this benefit to the users. Next slide, please. Okay, so this the libraries are now working in the areas of research. Next slide. Next slide, please. And the libraries are now also focused in the standing of the institution so far as the research and publications are concerned. As you can see, this Indian Research Information Network System, this this is now going to give a research standing of an institution with relation to a particular researcher or the institution as a whole, so that you would be able to know that what are my citations, what is my H index, what is my rank so far as the national level other such researchers are concerned from other institutions. So this will actually help us to motivate the researchers, and also to make an appraisal of their research of an institution. And with this also the institutions now, libraries of higher education institutions are actively engaged in. And you all know that one of the vital partners of this NIRF, National Institutional Ranking Framework, or the NAC, third party, is InflameNet. So they are generating reports on the faculty publications, the public research publications of the universities and colleges, and they are providing data with regard to this ranking. So this is again is one aspect where the libraries are now working in, and this is a part of the e-learning process. Next slide, please. So I'll just be taking 2 minutes more. Yeah, go ahead, please. Go ahead. Next slide, please. Okay, this know that this was started by the Minister of HRD, Government of India. So providing the e-learning benefits to those who are not able to, who want to take the courses at a distance. So there are hundreds of such courses are now there, And the student, if you want to take an additional course, and of course the UGC have been actually um, asking the universities and colleges to go for this SWAYAM courses, and the students be registered and get the courses apart from the courses they are getting from the colleges. So the libraries are giving access to these portals as a link, and they're also guiding the students as to how they can go forward with it. Next slide, please. NPTEL, National Project for Technology and Enhanced Learning. This we know that this has created a lot of impact in the quality of teaching and education and teaching in India, particularly because of the high quality content are accessible to everyone. The videos are available. You can learn the videos. They're online. You can play these videos, save these videos, and play the videos in the classroom. So there is a lot of impact in the teaching and learning because of this NPTEL. Next slide, please. Similarly, the EPG Pathshala and other books courses that again the Ministry of HRD with the help of the InfluNet been imparting, and this is a very good source for the course material, compiled materials, very high quality materials in text formats and audio, video format are available for our students. So at this time of pandemic, this kind of sources can be used, and therefore the libraries have to prompt and orient their students to access these sites for their benefit. The next slide, please. The National Digital Library. Next slide, please. The National Digital Library also the National Digital Library is also National Digital Library of India is an excellent initiative and a facility which has been developed by the IIT Kharagpur under the aegis of the Ministry of HRD Government of India for integrating all those scholarly sources at one place, so that the students can take benefit of this. And this is available in the form of a mobile app, and everyone can. I'll be concluding with some of these innovative library services that we can take up, that we can create the digital media labs. These are here where we can practice the open source softwares with the students. They can recreate the things by themselves and will learn as they are learning in a laboratory, physical laboratory. Mobile apps and websites we need to create to make the resources more accessible. Customized reading recommendations we should give to students so that they will be better guided, which are the good sources. Online research assistance will be provided to them at every stage of their research. Libraries as incubators and creation spaces. We can create spaces where the libraries can be used as incubator. If someone is having a very good idea, then we can provide them a space where they can showcase their ideas, they can build up their ideas, people can participate with that, and they will build on. So the real concept of incubator that library can start, coordination with schools and literacy efforts. The libraries can be a partner with the literacy mission. Also, online user orientation that the libraries have been doing it, and now for online users, the online user orientation the libraries have been designing and they're doing imparting to them. Research visibility. I have been discussing research visibility. Libraries are doing excellent work in research visibility by creating their institutional repositories, by advising the researchers as to where to publish and and how to publish, what is the rank so far as the national level research landscape is concerned. Then the webinars, arrangement of webinars, use of social media tools, open access philosophy, and digitization of local resources. So these are the innovative areas where the library services. Now the libraries are also working in the areas of the semantics, research in semantic areas, and the application of artificial intelligence, machine learning, so that the information retrieval can be a lot of help for the user. I'll conclude with the next slide, please. I'm sorry I've taken the time. The greatest danger in the times of turbulence is not the turbulence. It is to act with yesterday's logic. So this prompts for a change in the mindset of every one of us. May be the librarians, maybe the teachers, maybe our students, and all those stakeholders of the higher education system should have a changed mindset. They need to develop an adaptability to the changing environment, and tune our services, tune our working environment as per the needs of the online learning, which has become a new normal in today's COVID-19 pandemic. I think with this, I thank you all for giving a little bit patience for since I have taken a little more of your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Professor Maharatna. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now I would like to request Dr. Pal to continue.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for your such kind of valuable informative speech. And there is some question and answers in the chat box as well as question and answer box.
I'll be there.
Discuss a little bit afterwards. So we can discuss if there is any problem, sir.
Sure. No.
Hello.
I stopped my video, but I'm here only.
Okay, sir. Okay. So now one thing to share with you all, that is due to an sudden urgent meeting call. Dr. Nimai Chacha had to leave our platform for some while. He will definitely will be here with his presentation, and that's why we have to tune this program schedule a little bit. Sorry for this inconvenience. And now let me introduce Dr. Partho hello.
Yes, it is audible. Kindly continue.
Here, it is audible to hear Dr. Partho Sharuthi here?
Yes. He's here.
Sorry for this inconvenience. And now let me introduce Dr. Partho Sharuthi Das. He has more than 13 years of professional experience and is currently serving as Assistant Librarian Information Officer at the National Library, India. He is an international network of emerging library innovators, India, innovator and mentor of IMELI India and South Asia. He visited British Library London and libraries in Melbourne, Australia and Singapore. He has published around 35 publications, includes journal articles, conference papers, and book chapters. He is the co-author of the book entitled The Story of Steel Bridge, which is acclaimed by the national and international reviewers. He has awarded the Best Library Professional Award by Central Government Library Association. Presently, he is editor, yearly newsletter, and also editor-in-chief, Indian Journal of Librarianship and Administration. He will deliver his lecture today on changing time, changing libraries, repositioning and strategizing community engagement. So now, please, please, you may deliver your lecture.
Good afternoon, everybody. So, is my screen is visible to you?
It is visible only to put it in the slideshow. Right. Thank you. It's going. Okay. Thank you. Continue.
Okay, thank you. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all the organizers, webinar organizers of Mrinalini, Dr. Mahavidyapith, Kolkata, and my special thanks to Dr. Mahavidyapith, Principal, for giving me the opportunity to come here and deliver the lecture today. And I also am very proud that my senior officer, Dr. K.K. Pachikoshi, Officer on Special Duty, National Library, is present here. I also thank Dr. Mrinalini Gangopadhyay, Coordinator, IQAC, and my co-speakers, Professor Bulu Maharana and Dr. Nimai Chachaha. And last but not the least, my professional colleague friends, Dr. Nilima Pal, Sri Shomiran Noshka. So thank you all. Before starting my presentation, I like to set the context. So now already Professor Maharana is already given you a brief overview of the e-learning landscape of library, how to deal with e-learning. So I would rather focus my discussion on the strategizing the community engagement. So what will be the strategy? We are in a changing world. So what will be our strategy and how we can adapt ourselves to make changes for our library so that we can connect with our communities, connect with our students, connect with our users, scientists, anywhere else. So ideas that I will like to cover here. So embracing the change management, changing libraries, strategies during the lockdown period, strategies, what will be the strategies in the post-lockdown period, and I will also discuss about some of the case studies, National Library, what National Library is doing, and some of the international case studies. So, you know that we are in a very critical stage of our lifetime. I don't know, I have ever faced such a situation in my life. So, Corona is a virus which has changed the entire world. It's changed the economy, it's changed the education system, it's changed the working procedure, and you can say that Corona is equivalent to change. So suppose if you can, there is a metaphor that you can always identify change with Corona. So what are the changes? What are the changes we are facing today? So the new normal, this is the new normal of social distancing, masks, gloves, washing our hands here and there, even if the restrictions are lifted until a vaccine is found, that the virus will still remain for us. So this is the mindset we have to make. So individual economy with the new shift pattern of factories, half full buses and trains, staggered opening hours, this is another picturization of the economy. We are going to introduce it in teacher economy. Might be when we are visiting the cinema hall or in a theater, there will be always a chair in between two persons. So another concept of work from home. So we are not actually so much conversant with the work from home concept, but now we are now adapting ourselves to how to do work and how to coordinate work from home. So there is another concept of social bubbles. So each household is a bubble. Citizens can now expand their bubble by inviting up to 2 specific additional people. So this is also a concept by which you can mix up and increase your identities, increase your friends by introducing more social bubbles. There are technologies, there will be technologies to track, trace and test. This, I think this is the buzzword of today. You have to track, you have to trace and you have to test. So there are technologies coming, there are rolling out smartphone apps which are actually basically helping you to track infections. Like I will give an example by Government of India, Arogya app has been very popular in India and it's a mandatory for us to use this app. This is a technology to track the disease and also give you some guidance on how to deal with the problem. Virtual personal exclusion zones is another system, safety system like wristband. Some of these also are technology if the workers who may be too busy to notice each other, this technology will alert the persons coming near each other. So, staggered school days is another important process we are going through, because schools and colleges are also closed, but some of the offices, some of the libraries are open without any public service, but they are adapting the staggered time. Staggered time is basically all the persons are not going at a one go. Some people are going and some people are it is a maintaining of shifts, two different shifts, working is in shifts. So color coding communities, Iran is experimenting with a flexible approach that allows more freedom in areas by which they are actually color coding the communities. That is, who are more prone to the disease, who are less prone to the disease, so they are color coding their communities. China is another experimenting, and another they have rather introduced the system passport to freedom. So there will be a smartphone app, or there is an identity by which the government will identify whether these people will be allowed in the crowded area or not. So this is also another example. So I think this is going to be the new normal. Maybe the mask and sanitizer vending machines at workshops, some places have already adapted to this change. So this is another method by which even the libraries are also adopting this process of plexiglass barriers to be installed in work tables and dining tables. Even the restaurants are using this plexiglass, and even the libraries, some of the libraries who are planning to open up the reading spaces, they have to use this type of classes for making a barrier between the readers. So change, we are actually in a world of change, and I think change is not difficult, not changing is fatal. So change, I think that the world will not change for us, we have to change. So change management is that when we experience change, move from what we had known and done to a period of transition to arrive at a designing a new way of behaving and doing our job. So it's kind of innovation. Actually, change management is kind of innovation, but some kind of work we are already doing. Like in the education, we are following some methodology. In the case of library services, we are following some methodologies, but the same work, how to do in a different way, how to do in an alternative way. So that is actually innovation, and that is change management. So change management is a life cycle of inspire, interact, and innovate. So these are the three things that inspire, that leaders have the potential to recognize the inner ability, connect and engage with others, setting the tone and the team. So while you are doing the change management in your organization, so you have to first inspire the people. Otherwise, they can't accept the change. Anyway, if you are adapting any change in any organization, you have to first inspire your people. And for inspiration, you have to take a leadership role. So we are now talking about transformation leadership. So transformational leadership is that leadership that how you can empowering others to follow you. So another thing is the interaction. So interaction is a very important element in design and implementation of any change management life cycle. So how important, how efficiently you are interacting with your peer groups, how efficiently you are interacting with your team members, interacting with the users, that always depends on how you are doing the change. And lastly, the innovators. Innovate. Creative thinkers can be called as innovators. So now the library is at the crossroads. I don't know what will happen to the libraries in future, but you have to innovate, and innovate. So whatever we are doing right now today, so the technology we are adapting today, maybe it will be obsolete tomorrow. So we have to innovate, and we have to change the way of delivery of services. We have to change our thought process first. We have to change the mindset. Otherwise, it's very difficult going to happen. So this is the change curve. If you see the change curve, this is the certainty and this is the hope. And some people are in the doubt. That is the value of this fire. They do not know what will happen. So this is the way that you have to bring a bridge between the certainty, that is the current situation, and the hope. So that after you bring in the hope, they will increase their confidence, and confidence will lead to satisfaction. So this is how you can bring change in your organization, bring change in your library or any other organization. Even Philip Kotler has provided an 8-step model for change management. So increase the urgency for change, build a team dedicated to change. So you have to create an urgency. Otherwise, if you don't feel the urgency, otherwise if you don't feel that you are hungry to change, so you can't you can't change yourself, or you can't build a team for change. So it is a kind of stimulus. If you see, the change is a kind of stimulus which actually gives you the power to dedicate yourself and commit yourself to change. So you have to build a team who have the vision for change. So what will be the vision, what will be the objectives of your organization? This is very important, because change, vision, everything, objectives depends on the organization to organization. So after you create a vision for change, you have to communicate the need for change. So what is the need for change? So if you can't communicate, because you know there are different kinds of communication, vertical communication, horizontal communication, parallel communication. So every way you have to communicate with your peer groups, with your staff members, with your users, with your scientists, with your communities. So whatever the radius you are working, you have to communicate with them. And obviously, when you are doing some changes or doing some changes, there are a need for empowering the staff with the ability of change. Because there are certain technological skills upgradation. Because skills is one important thing which doesn't depend on the certificate, it doesn't, it depends on the education you are. How interested you are taking up the skill, important skill, that actually will empower your staff. Definitely you have to arrange some training programs for them, you have to motivate them to skill, to experiment with the different technologies available, so that their skill is increased. Because if you can only increase their skill through practice and practice. Create short-term goals. Creating short-term goals is equally important for any change. Stay persistent. You have to just stay persistent, because you can't change your goals, you can't change your objectives, you can't change your stand from time to time. And if you are following these steps that I discussed, so you can make a permanent change in your organization. So, is it going to change? This is a school library that is full. That is, we are very happy to see such rooms of colleges and universities and schools that fill with students, and so will this going to change? Yes. So now I am just briefing about the community, because I am a frontline advocate of community. Interest in a topic. So a community of practice is very easy to identify. The community of doctors, community of lawyers, community of teachers. So these communities are basically sharing the same goal, the same purpose. So librarians, as a librarians, we have to design our services based on the need of this community of practice. So community engagement is a very, very important and strategic component by which the libraries and the librarians should work, because if you don't plan earlier, so what are the community needs? And immediately you have introduced the service in the library, it is going to be a failure. Because see, the community engagement will be successful only and only if you are going to assess your community. So there are various ways by which you can assess the community, because I am not going through that methods by which you can assess the community. But generally speaking, that you have to assess their interests. What is their geographical location? What is their special interest? See, you are in a college, so that community, that interest of your community will be different for national level. So community for national level will be different. Community for university will be different. Community for a medical college will be different. So you have to understand their working function, their geographical location, special interest, your infrastructure, that will actually give you or guide you how to engage the community. So community engagement encompasses a variety of approaches for the public service. That is, empower citizens, and there are a range from encouraging people to have priorities for community safety, etc. So this is a public spectrum, participation spectrum, by which any library actually works. If you see, inform, consult, involve, collaborate, and empower. So these are the basic steps by which a librarian can empower their community, because libraries are a place of change. Public libraries, especially the public libraries, you are bringing into transformation to the society. So these are the places by which you bring change to the community. So you first have to inform them, have to consult, then involve in your services. Collaboration is very, very important today. How you are collaborating with the users, how you are collaborating with the students, give them a chance to collaborate with me, because it is not a one-way process. It should be a two-way process. And after collaboration, obviously the end result will be you are empowering. And if you can empower your users, if you can empower your students, you become a leader. So now I will discuss very briefly about what will be the strategies for community engagement. So I have defined the time period into three parts. One is the pre-lockdown, which can be seen as a normal lockdown period, that we are now in a lockdown period, semi-lockdown period, transition period, and what will be the next new normal or post-lockdown period. So if you see, I'm just giving you the services what the libraries are basically following. One is the users, staffs, and community engagement. If you see the users, the reading room services, methodology, we are following the physical, lending services, physical. This is during the normal period. Access to resources, online, photocopy services, payment for services. These are basically all the services are physical. Even the staffs, how they are functioning, acquisition, technical processing, staff management, monitoring of work, meetings, these are all going to happen in physical form during the normal period. And even in the outreach programs also, community engagement, libraries are used to do physical programs. So now let us see, in the lockdown period, or if you see the transition period, so what you are going to offer your users. You cannot offer physical service if you cannot offer physical lending service, if you cannot offer physical photocopy services. So absolutely, the physical services are not possible to offer now during this period. So then what will be the strategy after the post-lockdown period? So after the lockdown period, services will going to be physical. Lending services will go to physical. Access to resources basically online, so it is not disturbed. Photocopy services, payment. So whatever even the staff and the users, we are offering the physical services, how we are going to change. So there are several guidelines available now. So we are also, National Library also, we are in the process of compiling a general guideline for the users for the libraries. So what will be the going, how you are going to change your process of work, how you are going to change your reading room services. So let us discuss, so what may be the strategies. So let us restart our journey. So first, coming to the formulating, when you are formulating the strategies for reopening the libraries, the first thing that you have to do the sanitization process. Now, you know, the hypochlorite based sanitization process can be applied in different areas of the library. But this hypochlorite based solution is not suitable for the library based library materials. That is the books, newspapers, CDs, DVDs, because this process is not at all suitable for the library materials. So you should be careful, you should not adopt the hypochlorite based sanitization process. So for sanitization, the hypochlorite based sanitization process, what you can do in different spaces of libraries. In the reading areas, in the staff areas, or in the stack areas, so in selected areas, and maybe 4 times a day on holidays, or obviously you should also take care that it is happening in the absence of any staff member, because this is very hazardous chemical hypochlorite. It is not good for human health. So sanitization job must be continued for 2 to 3 months even after the lockdown period is over. So next, coming to regular cleaning of toilets, divisions of the library with disinfectant liquid. Recommendation by the preservation experts shows that if you quarantine the document for 72 hours, actually it kills the virus. So there are many ideas, there are many research going on. So don't think it is an absolute, because you have to check what is the current scenario. So whatever I have got, some recommendation, that is 72 hours. Alcohol-based sanitizers may be used for your paper-based material, light switches, mobile phones, etc. So staff members should be directed to wear gloves and book files to remove the gloves. These are actually all the protocols you have to follow, health protocols for before, after, if you are planning to open the libraries. It is also suggested that thermal screening device and sanitizers may be used by the security staff. So we are also following the same thing, that if you when you are entering into a library, we are being checked by thermal screening devices, and the sanitizer liquids we are using. And there must be a good air circulation in the book stack in the division, because you see the library is now closed for so many days, but you should also take care of the books, because what is the condition of the books in a closed room. So sometimes you may take an inspection of your stack rooms also. So these are some of the technologies available. Installation of book sanitizer machines. So these are the machines, but it is costly machines. They are using the UV radiation techniques to kill the insects. For 30 seconds, you have to put the books in the sanitizing machines, and it will kill the viruses. So I think that the first thing you will introduce in your any kind of library is the COVID-19 literacy, because COVID-19 awareness program should be organized for the users, and there are a lot of things available in the website of the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare. If you visit there, you will find a number of infographics, you will find a number of training videos, you will find the awareness material. So you select those materials and put it in your different strategic places in the organization, in the library, so that you have to aware people more and more aware of people. Otherwise, if you can't create the awareness, we can't stop the disease from spreading. So if we are planning for resumption of reading room services and lending services, so these are some of the ideas and some of the recommendations made by different organizations. So one is the sitting capacity to be rearranged to avoid face-to-face sitting. This is one of the important steps you have to make. Compulsory thermal screening of users or visitors at entry. Restriction of entry of number of people in the library at a given time. So you have to restrict the opening hours and closing hours. So you have to also restrict the number of your members visiting in the reading room, one at a time. So otherwise, to avoid the gathering. So you can stagger the library hours in a particular day. So introduction of facility of online booking for use of the reading room. If you can introduce this facility, that will be well and good. Introduction of home delivery of books. All returned books needs to be sterilized and service hours need to be restructured. And the cleaning and the disinfection period should be 30 minutes each at least 3 times a day, and the gap will be 30 minutes. So contactless payment system for deposition of fines. If you have the system of deposition of fines and lithographic charges in physical form, so you immediately turn into an online system, contactless payment system. So it may be usual to carry out an audit of the services at the highest state, like National Library of China. They have already conducted an audit of the services which are at highest risk. So isolation room and displaying of essential numbers. This is also an important decision you have to make. You have to keep an isolation room in your organization so that if anybody thinks that I am unwell, so immediately you can isolate him or her in a different place. So staff-related strategies may be staggered working hours to avoid overcrowding of public transport. This is an important decision is already being implemented by Government of India in different organizations because we are working as a shift. We are divided the entire day, the entire working day into 3 shifts. So and we are also delivering the service, delivering the work or doing the work in 3 shifts. So as there is no public service now in our library, just the internal work is doing by the shift method. Providing facilities for the staff to work from home. Because obviously you cannot call 100% of your staff or people to the organization. So there should be facility for some of the staffs who are not coming to office or library or the organization. So they will be teaching or they will be working from the home. Metadata duplication check, metadata editing, quality control checks may be done from home in case of libraries. Scanning of the title page and raster of title page of new books to be accessed and be sent to the staff to work from home. These are the methods by which you can introduce work from home. Online monitoring of the staff remotely. I don't know how to remote staff working online. So there are methods we have to think. There are innovative ways we have to think how we can monitor online. So another new concept is coming as we are not meeting physically, we are using various video conferencing apps. There are a number of free apps, GoToMeeting, LarkSoup, then GeoMeet is coming. So you can use these kind of platforms to meet your colleagues, meet your teachers, meet your students. So introduction of e-office is another method by which we can mitigate the services. So one question is coming that how to engage the community during this period. So online workshop for students and faculty is one of the way by which you can engage your community. Arrangement of webinars, arranging online competition and engagement through social media. So these are the methods. These are not the absolute methods. You can innovate a number of methods by which you can innovate more services so that more services library is reached to everybody. So next, coming to I am giving you some of the content ideas for Facebook and how to use the social media, as I am handling my the social media as a local media officer for National Library for last 2 to 3 years. So how we are using the social media for community engagement. I am giving an example. So content ideas you have to generate. So what are the content ideas? So event can be one of the content ideas. If you are organizing an event, you can create an event in the Facebook group. You can make a Facebook group there, and you can make an event, and you can introduce the concept of interested button. So these are the methods by which you can do and attract the users and communities. Because the only thing is that the first and last thing is that you have to engage your community. If you can't engage your community and you are technically qualified and you are doing technically things in your own desktop, so it doesn't mean anything. So ultimately, what is your reach? What is your engagement? What are your likes? What is your shares in the Facebook group? What is your followers in the Twitter group? That actually defines, that actually the analytics, the social media analytics actually is reflecting what is the community reach you are making during this period. So use of campaigns is another ideas by which you can engage your users. Like we are campaigning, we are using the hashtags methodology for creating campaigns. So recently we have done 2 campaigns, that is the International Yoga Day, that is hashtag Namaste Yoga and hashtag 100 million Surya Namaskar. It is actually the campaign from the Ministry of Culture, and we have actually made it trending. This hashtag is made it trending in the 21 June. So these are some of the ways by which you can visually you can communicate to the users, your students, your readers. So you can use the hashtags always. So another hashtags we are using just yesterday it has been completed, hashtag Shankalpar. Actually, it is how you can engage your community in planting trees. So it has started from June 28 up to July 12. So we are extensively using the social media to engage our community. Even we have requested that you post your videos in the social media, you send us to the social media, then we will post. So these are the interaction to be made with the users, because otherwise you have to attract to the IB services. So content ideas, another can be live tweeting. If you are maintaining a live Twitter account, you can, if you are organizing a webinar or if you are organizing an online event, you can immediately live tweet in your Twitter account. So this is an example from the Ministry of Culture. That is, we have organized, Ministry of Culture have organized hashtag Sangeet Setu. This is another hashtag campaign we have done successfully, and it has generated a huge social media encouragement among all the citizens of India. So, like what we are doing, every tweet is a piece of literature. Suppose we have done what we are doing. We have selected some of the interesting collections from our library and tweeted in the social media. So this can be an effective way by which you can engage users. So in a college library or university library, what you can do, you can use this media different. You can take up the interesting books. There are a lot of content generation websites are there, good reads are there, so you can use it. So this you can, by which you can engage your readers more effectively. So now I will discuss about what are the services we are giving during this period. That is, now the online membership registration is totally online for National Library. You can go to the National Library website, nationallibrary.gov.in. So you can fill up the entire details and you can take one online membership there. After you have taken the membership, there is a facility for the e-resources. So all the registered members can access the subscribed e-resources of National Library. So National Library has a huge amount of journals, online journals, e-books, databases are there. Any user can go, and I think, and I appeal to all of you, take our online membership of National Library. It's very easy. So you can go there in the nationallibrary.gov.in and you can take a membership there, and after getting the membership, you can also access our e-resources there. And National Library has also opened about 15,000 digitized books in the website. So there is a link for digitized the documents in the website of Women. So you can go there and you can access, you can download, you can use it. There is no such restriction there. And another important project by the Ministry of Culture is Indian Culture Portal. So I all invite you on behalf of the Director General National Library and Ministry of Culture to visit Indian Culture Portal. It is indianculture.in. If you go there, it's a fantastic platform. It is a fantastic platform. It is built on LAMP architecture. It has actually integrated libraries, archives, and museum into one place. I think this is one of the unique project in the world, I think, because none of the platforms are identified and integrated into one place. So you can see, you can visit a library catalog, you can visit a museum, you can also see the museum artifacts. Even if you can also see the artifacts in the archives also. So this is basically an online platform. You can use it, and there are very good stories out there if you are interested in stories. And I would recommend all the librarians who are listening to me to introduce this Indian Culture Portal to all the students and faculties, because it's an excellent resource material. It has been executed by Ministry of Culture in support with the IIT Bombay and IGNOU. So I would request, because there is a fundamental difference between NDLI and Indian Culture Portal. And Indian Culture Portal is a project of NDLI, that is National Virtual Library of India. What actually NDLI is doing is they are doing the weather in the harvester. Because if you are not getting the all the text open, that is the full text you are not getting in most of the cases I have seen. But in Indian culture portal, you will get the full text materials are there. So not only the full text materials, if there is an actually platform which mingles the culture, history, sociology of India, and it's a very beautiful platform you should visit. And it's an invitation for all of you. So this is a case study, just what we have done during this period. We have introduced 2 pages that is integrated search engine for open educational resources for researchers and one for the children and young adults. So these 2 you will find, this is a screenshot, this is the resources. If you go to the resources, if you click there are 2 web pages are there. One web page is for open educational resources for the researchers and one for the children and young adults. So these actually, whatever the resources are there, we have evaluated all the open access resources, because this is very important. Unless and until these resources are evaluated, so you can't give that information to your users. So we have tried to evaluate most of the databases and put it in one place, supported by a web scale discovery service. So there is a separate page for young and children and young adults. This is very interesting. I am just telling you. So in this page, if you go and visit to this page, you will find there are a lot of links and a lot of videos. Are there for children. So actually, if you want to visit a museum, if you want to visit Qutub Minar, if you want to visit a Taj Mahal, there are a lot of 360 views, videos for the children. So you just open and you please do a word of mouth for these search engines, and you can also link your website to these pages. And I am very happy to share with you that IFLA has recognized our services in their global COVID-19 platform, and even All India Radio has made an exclusive program for this, whatever we have done during this period. So next, coming to the another way of engaging users or the students and faculties is the blog. If you do not have the blog for your library, please create this blog immediately, because blog is a way method by which there is a fundamental difference between Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, because these are the platforms which are very limited, because there are limited text and limited photos. So there is a limitation of these platforms. So if you use this blog platform, so it is a very good. I am giving an example that how we have engaged communities through this blog. So in April 2020, we have organized an online creative writing program for the school children. So we have organized a competition that whoever is writing good, the best stories that will be published in our blog. So we have published some of the stories of the students in the blog. So what it actually means that you will be creating engagement. So some kind of material, some kind of stuff which actually connects with your reader. This is very important. You can organize some competitions, story writing competition. You can organize essay competitions and select the best stories, select the best essays, and publish it in your blog of your organization. That actually it will give your students independence of dealing and taking the skills further. So I will not, because my time is limited, I will not go for the entire details of selected case studies. I will just mention some of the global case studies that I have found in the IFLA Global 19 web page. So Malaysia is preparing a campaign called Let's Read Together campaign. So this is an online campaign and engaging many of the users. The state government of Western Australia has started home delivery of books, safe home deliveries. Bibliotheca Nationale in France, they have introduced open online virtual exhibitions. This is also a kind of engagement you can do. So in India, there are different public libraries like Kota Public Library. They have increased their engagement through online promoting bibliotherapy as means. So in Denmark, you will find they have increased the number of e-books. Danish libraries, they have set up an online Ask a Librarian with a virtual learning, a virtual reference service. So the book list is another service, in the United States. It is a service. It is a book review service that is open. You can use it. You can use it. So French Association of Heritage Libraries, they have come with a guideline, so you can follow that guideline whatever they have done. So China has also adopted some of the innovative services. The Dutch library system has recommended some entry tokens that they are issuing the entry tokens who are going to use the reading room. So in some cases of France, they are actually reorganizing the socializing places like coffee corners, their lobbies, they are maintaining these things. Then association and library authorities, they are making across the world, they are communicating, they are coordinating with the library, and they are developing new guidelines. So now it is the time to bring out your strategy, because the strategy will depend on the type of organization you are serving. So these are some of the summary I have already described: sanitization, COVID awareness, infrastructural restructuring, restricted library hours, restricted users, staggered working hours of staffs, work from home, remote monitoring, virtual meetings, online community engagement, and any other. There are any number of innovative solutions you can make. Thank you, and this is the end of my.
Kindly unmute. Nilimadi. Nilimadi. I think Nilimadi yes. Kindly unmute.
Hello?
Yes, audible.
Yes,
audible.
Now, thank you, Dr. Partha Dash. Now it's time to I want to hand over these to our another joint convener, Sri Shomiran Noshkar. Please. Hello.
Shomiran, unmute your mic. Shomiran, unmute your mic. Shomiran,
So then may I continue?
Yes, now unmute. Yes, you can continue now.
Hello, I'm audible.
Yes.
Yes. So now, I would like to Nimai Saha. I is presently working the library, Central Library of Shantiniketan. Also guest faculty in the Department of Library and from 2008. He has reached 21 prior to joining as a deputy. Dr. Saha has worked as a librarian of Kalna College of Bardhaman. Dr. Saha has published more than 70 articles in different journals, national and international conference proceedings, published 9 books, and edited 4 conference proceedings. He is an editor of 1 international journal and reviewer of 3 journals. Dr. Saha has attended more than 170 seminars, workshops, conferences of national and international level in different capacities. Invited speaker, panelists, chairing technical sessions, paper presenters, and participants, etc. Dr. Saha is a live member of many associations like BLA, YASLIC, ILA, IST, SA, LIS, MPLA, BLIS, BUA, WBCLA, AT, INER, AB, SAR, etc., and trying to add. Dr. Shah has been awarded many prestigious awards like Lifetime Achievement Awards 2017 from IRDP Group of Journals, Universal Achiever Gold Medal Awards 2015 from Universal Achiever Foundation, Special Awards 2015 from SC, ST, OBC Employees Welfare Association, Vishwabharati, Indira Gandhi Advanced Gold Medal Award 2014 from Global Progress and Research Association. His special area of interest includes library marketing, innovations, best practices, library HRD, ICT application in library, changes management, etc. So now I would like to request Dr. Shah to start your lecture.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Suman Babu, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. So let me allow to share my screen. So, hello. Yeah, let me allow to start. And at the very outset, let me extend my warm regards and gratitude to the president of the college, that is Madam Srimati Chandrima Bhattacharya, principal of the college, who is supposed to be my reverend teacher, that is Dr. Apurva Bandopadhyay, Dr. Mitali Gangopadhyay, coordinator IQAC, joint convener of this event, Sri Somiran Noskor and Dr. Nilima Pal, my professional colleagues, and members of the organizing committee like Mohmita Gupta, Sri Taro Kaur, Sri Alok Raut, technical expert, that is Dr. Suman Chakraborty, who is soldiering every pain of technicalities and problems during a completion of this session. And of course, I would like to pay my deep regards to the entire teaching faculty of the college, the entire non-teaching team of the college, the entire student community of the college, students union of the college, and other stakeholders of the college who allows us to be the part of this August event. And of course, let me extend my deep regards to a senior, versatile, dynamic professionals whose name is found over India and abroad, that is none other than Dr. K.K. Kochukoshi, OSD, National Library, Kolkata, who is supposed to be one of my teacher and having sea of experience. And I am very lucky and fortunate enough to represent me, to share my views when Sir is there in the screen. And of course, let me extend my warm regards to Professor Bulu Moharana, who is one of the noticed academician in the field of library and information science. Basically, he is from Odisha, and probably this is the second time when I am going to share online program with Professor Moharana during this pandemic. And yes, of course, another dynamic library professionals of India, that is none other than Dr. Partha Das, Assistant Library and Information Officers of our Heritage Premier Institute, that is National Library Kolkata, who is soldiering every aspects of National Library and trying to showcase the National Library activities and latest developments with positive fashion and manner in the national and global level audience. So with these few words, and I am really very sorry to disturbing and giving so much of pain to both of joint conveners, that is Dr. Nilima Pal and Sri Suman Babu, because today after here, when I'm just going to listen the program, I have been asked by my Vice Chancellor's office that we need to attend one urgent meeting. But with my request, Sir is kind enough to allow me to come out after attending a few words from his mouth. So I'm so sorry. And I'm really owe to the college authority and the August audience, those who are supposed to be bother me for another 30 to 40 minutes under the topic that is library in online teaching learning, a challenge during COVID-19 pandemic. And I'm very sorry that Parthoda is a good speaker and a dynamic professional. I would have been enriched a lot if I would have a chance to listen his all slides and entire presentation. I'm so sorry, Parthoda. In future course of action, definitely I will share with you. And if you don't mind, please share your PDF of the presentation so that I will enrich myself. And Professor Maharana is always an innovator of the library science and library service too. I have learned 90% of his session. So definitely like a student, like a colleague, I again today have an opportunity to enrich myself. So with these few words, let me take entry in the inertia of my presentation. And I don't know, being the last speaker and most of we are hunger, I don't know how much I will be the penning character to all of you still. As principal said during his inaugural speech or welcome address uttered that yes, I am from Tagore's land, and yes, the audience may have some sort of extra expectation that how we will just showcase our education in legacy with Gurudev Tagore. But sir and learned audience, I'm so sorry that by definition, I'm not the teacher and of course not the good speaker. Still, you are kind enough with your holistic attitude, you are bothering me. So really, I am again owed to before you all. Now, just let me open up my today's submission title called Reshaping Library for Online Teaching Learning, Expectations and Reality. See, this is the presentation breakup of the ideas which I am going to talk about a little bit. That is introduction, library during pre-pandemic, expectations and reality, online teaching learning, reshaping library to make it fit for new normal, gaps in between expectations and reality, and then conclusion. See, my learned participants and colleagues, the point B, which I am going to pay much more attention is that you may agree with me, you may not agree with me. That is, being a library professional, I don't think that this pandemic is going to reshape our library services. But to me, the library was under challenge. The library services was at the crossroad even before pandemic, because the physical condition of the, let me start with public library, then medical library, then school library, then college library, then in my university library, and also I can include to some extent national library too. That even in the pre-pandemic situation and condition, what was the condition of the physical library of any institute? Forget about public library and medical library, other institute library. Let us consider and figure out only school library, being the entry level of the students for higher education. Then in college library, there is a corridor or coordinating point in between school and university. And finally, the university library. So I have a big question in front of you all. Do we are in a position to satisfy our users community even in the pre-pandemic condition? Even the answer is yes. I have a great doubt how far, how long we have able to satisfy the expectation of the users community, right from students, scholars, and to faculty. And sitting and standing on that corridor, we are just going to utter that pandemic. So in one way, to me, the pandemic is a kind of savior to me. That luckily we are having this COVID-19, so that we have been forget about the pre-pandemic condition, and we trying to represent ourselves, our library, our educational scenario as a new one. But if we ask the question to me, is it true? Why are we right track before pandemic? So in total of my presentation, I am just going to make a correlation in between pre-pandemic, pandemic, and post-pandemic. What was the library's condition? What is the library's condition? And how are we going to see and receive our library? And rightly, IQAC coordinator ma'am, during her short speech, she was kind enough and conscious enough, throwing one signaling message that yes, library was there, library is here, and library must be there in the future community. What else? If academics, faculty members, teaching community, policymaker, administrators would like to explore this conjuncture in favor of the library, then I think I being librarian or Madam Nilima or Samiran Babu, they won't have any fugitiveness to offer and to operate library services even after post-pandemic, even during pandemic, even pre-pandemic. So that kind of gesture, that kind of attitude, at the very outset, I would like to put forward before this learned audience. Then, in introduction, let me say, like any library, wherever I get a chance to say something, I just try to remind my professional colleagues that out of the 365 days in a year, we have to figure out the importance day of a particular day. And in the entry gate of the library, try to just display and showcase the importance of 2 days. Maybe one A4 size page print out about the importance and necessity of the day. Like today, someone may call unlucky 13, someone may call lucky 13. But actually this 13th July, International Puzzle Day. We know and we have passed our future nursery life. And this International Puzzle Day celebrates the birth of Dr. Erno Rubik, the inventor of Rubik Cube. Rubik was born on July 13, 1944 in Budapest, Hungary. During World War II, Rubik's famous invention, the Rubik Cube, became a world craze in 1980s, and thereafter, this 13th July is being celebrated, observed, honored as International Puzzle Day. So whenever we're going to talk about general intelligence, general knowledge, so if a students come in the library and if they have some sort of habit to look in the board, what today is, what is the importance. So by this way, we may slowly inject the student's mind, even faculty's mind, the importance of the day of today, like 5th June, like 5th September, 2nd October, 15th August, 23rd January, 26th January, and many more days. So there might have ample of importance of a particular day, but my humble submission, pick up 1-2 important days and try to showcase in front of the library gate, so that this will give some sort of attitudinal value during NAAC peer team visit, during NIRF ranking, and after all, my sense of organ will insist me, yes, Nimai, you are doing something, forget about what a society is thinking on your library services. But I being a library professional, I being an innovator of the library services, I have to harvest even without having technology. Because I don't think that modernization only entails mechanization with the computer and software. Even without mechanization, Even without modernization by computer and software, we can do lots of things as innovative and best practices inside the four walls of the library. Yes, technology we definitely welcome. Without technology, like today's society, like a human body, we have two hands, physical and traditional environment or resources of the library. And in another hand, we are having electronic media, digital resources, and technological pedagogy. So if we ignore either of these two, our library, our educational society will be a kind of disabled educational system, disabled library services. So my fervent appeal to all of you, don't ignore traditionality and don't ignore electronic gadgets, but try to make it a optimum balance, try to reconcile of these two, and considering of availability of the geographic location of a particular college, considering the availability of the fund, considering the availability of the technology and software and staff support, try to make advance on your library depending upon the availability of terms and condition without citing lots of problem in the desk of the principal or head of the institution, because they are also like we, they are also a man or woman, and they're the heading the institution no more. So if every day we people asking principal, sir, I do require lots of money, if philosophy department asking, if economics department asking, if physics asking, then we all are knowing that our government of West Bengal, that our government of India, every day the allocation of educational sector is going down, going down, down, down. Then do you think that principal sirs or principals ma'am or head of the institutions do possess a kind of lighting the lamp through which they can bring money from here and there? So definitely we will place our proposal, but not the problem. Proposal and problem, take it to different times. At the same time, with this August gatherings and through this event, let me request the college administration, the institutional head, the governing body, the teachers council, the faculty council, the non-teaching, the students union, please, please, and please try to consider library as an integral part of the education system without taking into pandemic or informatic situation. So this is my submission. Then, since I am representing the land from Gurudev Tagore's, without Tagore's quotation, I cannot start any of my presentation. So the Tagore uttered lots of sentences, lots of creation. And every sentence, every word is having immense value in the current society, even in these pandemic days. Out of that one, I have picked up, everything comes to us that belongs to us if we create the capacity to receive it. So it may be like rainy season, stormy season, summer season, winter season. This ups and downs is a part of the global and world scenario. So when we like to receive good things, in contrary, we should make ready ourselves to accentuate with the unforeseen things, pandemic things like that. So everything comes to us that belongs to us. If we create the capacity to receive it, then it will be solved. Then you say the current society, what Professor Maharana, what Dr. Part-2 repeatedly said. And I do believe that in these pandemic days, we are going to organize so much of webinar, online teaching and other things. But sir and ma'am, can you tell me how much of Indian students, particularly rural students, those who are living in the BPL, do you think that their native villages or rural villages, internet connectivity is strong? Do you think that Jio is functioning well there? Do you think the parents those who are not knowing what will be our food tomorrow, how they will bring or purchase an Android mobile for their students along with some maintenance and recurring recharge value. So in one way, this is the good signal of this online and digital learning environment. And in contrary, and in another side, this will again increasing the digital gap, information gap, digital divide. Because we have two sides, like two sides of a coin, head and tail. In India, in West Bengal, in global scenario, we are having shining India and shrinking India. Metro India, rural India. Information rich versus information poor. Digital divide versus digital imbalance. And after passing as students from Nalhati Muraroi College or Purulia Lal Baba College, they have to compete with St. Xavier's University. They have to college with Goenka College, Lady Brabourne College, they have to compete with Delhi Siram College and any other private corporate institute like qualitative imparting education. So don't you think that this will increase gap day by day unless our policymaker, unless our government, unless our authority will take a kind of vision plan for 10 years so that rural India, rural Bengal, this ICT infrastructure needs to be reached to the every student's house like electricity 20 years back. Then only we can utter slogan that yes, one India, digital India, and education for all, and inclusiveness of Indian education system. Otherwise, in one way, we will escalate one part of India and we will drop down another great part of India. Now you see, if I take my example of early to till the date of my service life. When I joined in a college, 99, I used to come to college by walking. Then after 6 months, I purchased one cycle and sometimes come by cycle rickshaw. Then after some year, I purchased scooty and come to my college or university by scooty. Then right today's society, we found that several teachers and librarians and others, they are going or attend to their institute by rented or share car. And very recent, they have their own car. And I don't know what would have been the transportation system if COVID would not have been arise in our day-to-day life. And virtually and finally during this COVID and nature is the best educator, nature is the best teacher. And this COVID-19 asked me, asked all of us, you need not come to the take entry into the college classroom. You please deliver your intellectual input by sitting in your house. So you see, from walking to cycling to own car driving till attend my college or institute or office, this COVID proved that was completely meaningless and false. Then after 5 years, 10 years, what situation will come, who knows? What I am going to say that the dynamic nature of the society is time to time teach us, warn us what to be accepted and what to be rejected, what is old and what is new. Then library during pre-pandemic condition, most of the libraries are print and electronic collection. Here electronic means only enlist books and enlist some journals through InflipNet and some other free and open access resources. Then interlibrary loan, many of the college library may not have, some of the college library may have. Institutional or consortia membership, like any college, may take the membership of British Council Library, IQAC Library, that is American Library Kolkata, by paying 10,000, 15,000 in an year. But I have every doubt how many colleges have this membership so that by sitting in their college, they are entitled to access the more than 1 lakh plus resources of British Council Library by sitting in their college to browse and download. And also they will give the hard copy card. When librarian give this card to students and faculty members, they are supposed to take books from the British Council Library and American Library. So that whenever we think that we need to purchase books, we need to equip ourselves. Without doing that, if we take institutional or consortium membership, we would have introduced or expert library services or discharge our library services in expert ways. Then question paper and syllabus. Most of the colleges question paper and syllabus till the days available in the hard copy, and students are supposed to take photocopy or Xerox like that. So this is the expectation of the students and society, and reality in side by side I am telling the reality is not so good, and that's why we have failed to a great extent to reach some sort of expectation of the users community, and that's why day by day we found that footfalls in gradually decreasing from the college. Then expectations in regarding facilities, reading room with text of the career related collections. Many colleges this text or career related collections were there, but the ambience of the reading room was very dark in nature. There was chair table. Most of the colleges they don't have any sweeper for the reading room, chair tables cleaning and library cleaning, and they don't have any electric fan light. I'm talking about in total, not talking about the Kolkata's college and other institute. Light, AC, CCTV, that is a lacks a grade. Then provision of resource bus with computer and speedy network connectivity. Even if Enlist and other resources are there, there is a poor connectivity and a minimum number of computers, so that the students, those don't have any computers by their house or laptop in their house, so they are not able to browse resources by coming in their college. So why are they come in the college library? That is a big question. Then congenial environment. Even in the library, there is no drinking water facility, there is no good congenial and useful toilet system, and chair tables that are very savvy and old days pattern, and then well equipped and professionally trained staff. Most of the colleges right today, after retirement of non-teaching staff, only 1-2 librarians are there, and we suppose that they will do right from the sweeper's duty to intellectual resource catering duty, all these things. It is not possible, and many times I found that in the colleges 10,000 rupees or 12,000 rupees, the students are having library science knowledge and qualifying net said they are either they don't getting any job, and they are sitting in that college and getting that poor money, which is compared to very less to a masoner. So that is why the quality of the library services is not able to enrich the learned academic societies. And then you see circulation services all the working days, but many of the colleges I found Monday, Wednesday and Friday for the honor students, and this like that 10 to 12, 12 to 1 p.m. like that. Then reading room services also like that, that is undersized in terms of intake capacity. Question bank services also, it is very traditional ways. Then search assistant service for e-resources, of course 1-2 machines. Then other students come, librarian is really handicapped to cater their services. Then library services plus minus academic hours. When the students are supposed to attend class, library is open that time. When academic classes off or closed, then library is closed. So students community basically eager to have library services before and after academic hours, so that they will have some sort of ambience and scope to use the library services. Then you see the staff, as I told, the circulation services and other things. You see the staff of the trained only for librarian, and there are no more support staff, that is library clerk and library attendant or other things. Only 1-2 group D may be there, and they may be outsourced or hired staff or contractual staff. So that is why we are not getting the qualitative service from the staff which we will be ready to cater to the greater users community. Then let us come to online teaching learning. So in the pre-pandemic or traditional teaching learning, there are 4-5 ingredients. Let's say routine and planning, then delivering lecture or taking classes, assignment, project, dissertation, internal assessments like that. Then evaluation, final semester examination and results. In case of online teaching, these all 5 things need to be addressed by everything, need to be done on online mode by using any learning management system. There are many systems. I'm not going to take in our part of that. But right today, what we are doing as a teacher, that I am preparing one video and sending it through the students group, WhatsApp group, by WhatsApp video, WhatsApp groups. So that is not the online class. Why online class? We want to mean students will get the routine and plan, what classes will take by what teachers at what time, then what kind of the lecture notes will be uploaded there. Then after the lecture is over, the video will be available in the institute's YouTube channel. And here the reshaping role of the librarian and library is evolving. Then assignment, project, dissertation, soft copy when they submitted, at the very outset that needs to be checked through plagiarism, whether students are copy paste from any internet browsing resources and other things. So they need to check it like that. Then they need to make a repositories of all these assignments, projects, dissertation, like a shadow picture of Sodganga and other things, so that the next course of students, next batch of students will take some sort of guidance, how earlier Dada Didi made this kind of dissertation, and what is an assignment, what is a project, like that. Then evaluation. Whenever we're going to evaluate the students, the evaluated answer scripts may be open to the public domain, particularly for test result, so that students will get prepared themselves, what was mistakes I have made and how quality answer I have to write, and for what particular quality writings, what kind of marks I can get it. So all these things come together through a learning management system or software packages, and everything will be uploaded, and also results. So this is a kind of a single window system through which we need to cater online teaching learning system. Then questions: is infrastructure ready or capable? Let's say October or November, we are going to restart our education system. So my question, or anyone perhaps evolving with these questions, that is infrastructure ready to or capable to address this online teaching learning system? Is the teaching community ready with necessary training? Are there necessary resources? Then is library ready to cater required services? So these are the questions recycling and evolving around the society. And if we think this is the responsibility of the librarian, and if librarian think it is the duty of the teachers, and if teachers think it is a duty of the principal, and if principal think it is a duty of the governing body, so if we just rested the responsibility to others, then our objective will be untouched. So all these matters is a kind of joint venture. What I can say is a kind of team game. So we all need to sit together, and we all sit together to premise our videos, but after 1 year our video may be 100, 200. So like a book catalog, we need to know how we catalog and index, so that the junior students, green students, will be able to search a particular class or a particular day and get the answer very quickly. So all these things are kind of joint venture between librarian and teachers. So all these things article delivery services, because any chapter of the book, scanning of a book, maybe 2-3 pages of or any article of the journal, we can have scan and deliver through WhatsApp, deliver through Telegram services. If I don't have any digital library, so even we don't have any model standard environment, since we are the member of the developing country, we cannot expect that we will have within this pandemic period to chase the post-pandemic, we will have a modern and standard infrastructure. But my fervent appeal to my professional colleagues and academics, that we have to find out what are the substitutes through which I can reach out, I can satisfy my learned students and academics. Then staff public manpower, this is again a need to be increased for offering hand sanitizer, cleaning and washing of the library and toilets, infrared thermal scanner for measuring temperature of the students during entry at the library. So these are the timely requirement in addition to our traditional protocol-oriented library functions. Then what factors need to be considered? Signing India and Thinking India, of course. Then type of the library. What type of library I do belong? School, college, university, research institute, public library, corporate library, like that. Then physical existence of the library, where I am exist, rural, urban, suburban, like that. The nature and socio-finance cultural background of the library clientele and their parents and the stakeholders too. So infrastructure, especially ICTs, training and awareness on digital literacy of the library professionals and library users, especially students and faculty members. Then strategies to be adapted to chase post-pandemic. General sanitization need to be done. Acquisition, preservation, and conservation of library resources to be done with very careful manner. Circulation of library services need to be done with proper care and sanitization policies. Sitting for reading room, reference and browse of e-library resource in the library premises, maintaining social distancing. Then encouraging library users to access library resources virtually instead of physical visit as far as practicable. Protection of healthcare for both library staff, public users, and others, like avoid gathering, e-gadgets carrying, and toilets and other things. Then this is a Northeast document conservation center recommend what to be done for a book quarantine period and what is not to be done for electronic gadgets and museum items, like that. So any library professionals, any academician may consult this particular website. I have given the URL along with the PPT. So you can freehand to go around and train and aware yourselves. Then this is the National Center for Preservation Technology and Training. They have the guideline that metals 5 days for length of time to disinfect. Then wood 4 days, paper 4 to 5 days, glass 4 to 5 days, plastic 6 to 9 days, ceramics 5 days, and stone, that is 2 to 12 days. And this is their URL as a source material. And this is a book quarantine box which is being invented by NEERI, that is National Environmental Engineering Research Institute, that is in short it is NEERI from Nagpur. They have generated these things. Then this is the file quarantine box. Any file, because principal, any staff in the office, in the library, in any house also, we have lots of files, so that need to be quarantined before to use. So this is the file quarantine box. Then this is the thermal infrared scanner. Then this is the Realm project as enunciated by OCLC. You all know online catalog of Library Congress, Library of Congress. So Realm means reopening libraries, reopening archives, libraries, and museums. That is called Realm. So what to do, what not to be done, what should be the precautionary measure. So this is a kind of international standard guideline any institute, any library may follow, any museum may follow to save their health condition, to save their community from any contamination. Then you see minimum item requirements during new normal to run library. I am not going to utter all these things because of time shortage. So this is the 3 slides. In course of returning books or obtaining final clearance, because our government of West Bengal is supposed to be declared that 31st of July results of final semester is going to be out. So this is a great question to the librarian and college authority too. How will we take return of the books, and how will we issue no dues or final certificate so that office will issue the mark sheet? So then I have some sort of clear-cut guideline based on my experience, which I have sent it to Siddharth University librarian yesterday night and prepared these things. This may lack some sort of grammatical error, spelling error, but my spirit is very clear. Anyone can share, update these things. By this updating, I also get a learning, and you also get a learning, and finally we will develop a policy guideline. So here I am saying that here students means students of only final semester, not other students. Students will be entertained only after restoration of normalcy, other students. So students must have mask. Without mask, neither books will be returned, nor library clearance, nor will library clearance certificate will be issued. Before entering in the library, wash your hands with liquid soap. Proper arrangement need to be done. Sanitize your hands. Use hand gloves. Take a snap of the page of the books where accession number and call number noted. Note your name and library card number, and WhatsApp the same through the number, I mean staff number. Then staff will see. So there will be no physical contact to a students and a staff. So students will send this number to the through the WhatsApp or Telegram. Then staff will find out. Staff will pick up the library card. If it is physical condition, then they may reconcile whether the card number, accession number, student's picture is matching. Then they will give the card along with the final clearance certificate and ask the students to drop the books in the if quarantine box is not available, the carton like a TV or fridge carton, that may be a mount board box may be prepared, and books will be dropped there for 3 to 4 days as quarantine period. Then it will be sent to the stack after 4 days for resolving. Then on instruction from the staff, drop the book in the required quarantine box. Find the undertaking format. See, this time I am not expecting that librarian will take the books for checking page cutting, page filterage, and any sorts of damage. So that's why students need to submit one undertaking format. That format need to be generated by the institute or library itself. So the drafting may be, I have submitted the books bearing accession number for obtaining final clearance from the library, but due to pandemic, the books has or have not been checked by the staff properly. Therefore, in future, if I have called by the librarian for page cutting and damage the books otherwise, I shall be held responsible to replace with same edition or current books, or repay the price of the books as ascertained by the librarian without any condition and delay. So then name, department, address, mail ID, WhatsApp number will be there, so that in future course of action, if we found anything, yes, after my deliberation, question may come, is it possible? But some sort of earmark guideline will be there, so that we may ask our students to call for the replacement. What will be the reality? That is different, but policy guideline must be there, as I think. Then collect final clearance certificate and leave the counter. Then before leaving the library, drop the hand gloves in the dustbin or box. Date and time of the books issue and issuance of clearance certificate is. Then during rush, students are requested to stand in a queue with social distancing and maintain silence with patience to do the work by the staff safely and freely with zero defect. If any students are suffering from high fever, cough, and or sneezing, they are requested to send their family members with proper authorization and documents or books to obtain a final clearance certificate from the library. So this is a sample guideline. This may not be a model. Now, for all earlier speakers have been told, I am not going to all these things. You see, this is the open access resources. So I'm not going to see. This is the Tagore website. Every books on Tagore, that is verse, songs, novels, stories, plays, essays, even on different languages available by this website. This is full free. Any college teacher, any college students may browse for any Tagore's write-up from this URL. Then this is Gandhi Sevagram Ashram. Those who are doing research and imparting teaching, learning on Gandhiji, the teachers from philosophy, economics, political science, then other Indology, they may consult for Gandhiji's resources from this particular sites. Then these library colleagues are well conversant about Director of Open Access Journals. I am not going to repeat these things again. Then this is the Director of Open Access books. Here we are having more than 28,000 books on different languages from 380 publishers, full free to download. Then this is the Open Door, another URL for accessing e-resources. Then this is 9 fantastic websites that offer free college textbook. My special request to the library colleagues, those who are serving in the college, this website will help you a lot to get the college textbook for the students. Of 9 fantastic URLs are there. Then this is the book bone. Out of that 9, this is a sample. Through that 9 fantastic website, you will get all these things. Then DPLA. Then this is actually a Digital Public Library of America. Here we are having 3.87 crore documents, full free to download. not only for image, but for text, video, and sounds. So this is actually how the America is going to inculcate the inclusiveness of the education nature. So if a college is having the impaired students or physically disabled students, so they may have videos and audio sound system for their study purpose. Then this is free ebook center. Here also we are having so much of subject textbooks that is like mathematics. You see abstract algebra, basic algebra, integral calculus, K theory, Lie algebra, linear algebra, many things. Specific chapter, specific topic oriented searching. You can have a different subject, chemistry, physics, whatever may be the subject. Then open access theses and dissertations. Unlike Sodhganga is basically a kind of Indian reservoir, but OATD is international reservoir, where we are having more than 5 lakhs theses and dissertation, through which teachers, those who are undertaking a minor research project or major research project, they may going through it. Then how to get the free college books, again one more URL. Then this is using OER repositories, open textbook, books, subject specific. There are many URLs. Then gaps in between expectation and reality. See, always expectation level is sky, and our existence is only with the printing books with some racks, and this is the ground's reality where we need to living. And this green tree signaling that yes, this library is ready to cater oxygen, ready to survive education society. Once we people need to nurture the library and librarian, because during this pandemic days, physically library is under lock and key, but librarian is lock and key. We, the librarian, trying to cater more than 20 crore e-resources through open access resources to our college and university students. If any one of you required, I am free hand to give it to you more than 70 URLs by which you may have more than 80 crore e-resources for your students and academics. Then common gaps in front of the library, because everyday library is having so much of challenges. Out of 2-3 is very alarming, that is fund, staff shortage, and there's frequent changes of ICT and infrastructure. So due to time shortage, I may not elaborate on this. Then additional gaps due to COVID-19, basic things had to be introduced without having any fund. How college authority will introduce the additional items? Manpower need to be increased. Necessary training on handling of the gadgets, this thermal infrared scanner, then automatic sanitizer dispenser. Then library staff will take up the issues before the competent authority. Authority will treat this issue. That is the issue. Then and fate is completely unforeseen regarding the library services will be offered after lockdown by school library, public library, college library, particularly at the rural India. Yes, maybe Calcutta, Delhi, Chennai, Mumbai, these metro cities, there may be something, because the students feeding of that particular institute might have that kind of bit standard family. I may not say all, but a bit. But unlike this rural India, rural colleges, school, public library, they are really beyond dream and physical condition. Then in conclusion, let me say infrastructure related to ICT needs to be paid enough attention. Usage of open access resources is to be promoted. Evaluation of online resources needs to be imparted among the students and faculties too. Resource sharing is to be prioritized instead of procuring of only print resources, books, newspaper, etc. Library may be transferred into facilitating center, knowledge center instead of mere print collection house. After proper awareness, students may be insisted to browse more and more e-resources instead of mere depending on the print copy. Possible URLs are to be annexed in the website under useful or important links. Like Partha told that they have given one special search engine where a candidate can search all open access resources. That's a master step. So anyone can consult that things from National Library too. Then opening institutional YouTube channel to upload the lecture videos, that will be a master step. If any college will take these things and any teacher's video will be uploaded, like me in Biswabharati Library, we are having YouTube channel. We have opened, considering the time demand, we are having around 30 on different library lectures. We have organized a webinar on 21 lectures, and during 1 to 5 of 5th of August, another 5 lectures on Gandhiji we will organize. So all these things will come together, because this is the need of the time. We need to reshape, we need to reorient, we need to re-engineer, so that our necessity, our identity will be felt by the society, by their own need and requirement. And then PowerPoint files and lecture notes are to be added with the institutional repositories with proper metadata for easy and quick retrieval. Scope for Ask Your Librarian FAQ need to be annexed in the library website or college website or institutional website. Then let me end with a great quotation by none other than one of the great philosopher, educator of our, not India, at this global level. That is, what is the reasons for every misunderstanding, Vivekananda? The reason is we see the people as we are, but not as they are. So we always trying to restrict the problem to others, not to try to find out problem by my own, so that we will be go ahead properly, because the principal, because the vice chancellor, because the registrar, because the controller of examination, they are also human. Even though they have some sort of mentality and attitude, without our cooperation they may not run. So our attitude will be cooperative, our attitude will be holistic, so that principal sir will take up our proposal, our solution out of the alternatives. And that is ultimately we need to enlighten our attitude from negative to positive, from frustration to destruction or reconstruction. And let me conclude my lecture with thank you all and for careful listening and patientful things, and see why I am giving this picture of the gloomy sky, because this gloomy sky is not the rainy season symbol. The entire global human civilization is under a gloomy area, gloomy society, and our education society, our health society, our employment society is under pandemic, is under gloomy. So our sky, so our future is under gloomy. We have to be the part of the education society, literate body. We have to chase the gloomy situation and find out the sunny morning, find out the moony night, to go ahead to build our India and build our global civilization. With these few words, if I am doing any mischiefs, if I am doing any other things, and I'm really sorry and really worried about my disturbing of the schedule, and really apologize for the principal sir and organizing committee, IQAC coordinator and technical coordinator, and also my convener. Please bear with me. Unless you bear with me, I won't have this chance to share my thoughts with you all. With these few words, let me conclude. Let me say goodbye. Thank you all. Stay safe, stay secured, and light the world. Thank you, sir. Madam, floor is now yours.
Yes, Dr. Shaha, can you stop your share the screen?
Yeah, true. Mr. Nambe, chalo kalke bosbo tale.
Yes, thank you. Nilima Di.
Hello.
Please proceed.
Hello. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for your such a nice presentation, and which will be very much effective for us also. And now this is a question answer session, and now I request Sri Somiran Noshko to carry on the.
Hello. Hello, am I audible? Sonda? Hello.
Yes, Somiran, you are audible. You are audible.
Yes,
Audible.
In question answer sessions, we have received so many questions from participants. Out of this, we have selected 3 questions, each for every speaker. My first question is to Bulu Maharana sir. Dr. Arup Bijuli asking, what measures should take by college librarian in respect to library management aspect during post-COVID session? Dr. Bulu Maharana sir.
Professor Maharana, are you there?
Hello.
Professor Maharana, I think Professor Maharana is not there. Yes, he's there. Okay. Professor Maharana, Professor Somiran Noshko asking one question.
Sir, one question received from Dr. Hello, sir. One question received from Dr. Arup Bijoli. He is asking what measures should taken by college librarian
here,
respect,
but
respect-
yeah, but hello.
in respect to library management aspect
My-
during the post-COVID situation.
I got your question, but my network here is very weak. That is a problem. That is why most frequently I'm getting disconnected. Hello. I don't know
Hello.
how I'll be able to answer
Yes.
question. Hello. My network is very weak. I'm reaching out to you. Hello.
Sir, repeat the question, sir.
No, I got your question. I got your question. But can you hear me? Hello.
Yes.
Can you
Yes,
hear
sir.
me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Actually, my network is too weak
His
here.
network is
Okay.
disturbing so much. Yes.
Yeah. Actually, the college libraries. My presumption is that after the reopening, we don't know. Everything is very uncertain. But the reopening also will be for the examination, and maybe the government will come up with guidelines that less physical actual engagements in the colleges. That's what I actually presume. And in that case, as I said, that the e-learning infrastructure in the meanwhile in the colleges need to develop, uh, like this is going to be a day-to-day affair for the teachers, that online classes should be a new normal activity, the post-COVID also. So therefore, we need to actually strategically develop the e-learning infrastructure for reaching out to students remotely, and also to equip our libraries, because the other management aspects that I'm not going to talk about. There are resource persons who also have dealt with about as to how the libraries will prepare themselves to receive the users after the COVID situation is over. How the books can be quarantined, how the day-to-day operations of the library will function. But I'll be focusing on how he'll prepare the colleges will prepare themselves for another environment of the online learning. So therefore, we need to develop the infrastructure. Secondly, we need to orient our students instead of attending classes. They have hardly been attending to such online lectures and interactive online sessions. So therefore, we need to orient them as to what tools they will be using, how they will be connecting to their teachers, what are the different channels as to how, including the mails and online tools, they'll be using for their learning purpose. Like there are a lot many tools are freely available. As my previous speakers has already mentioned, there are so many resources are available freely in different portals, including our own National Digital Library and other course related learning resources created by the Government of India portals with the initiative of implement. Apart from that, also they need to actually know the use of different tools like Google Classroom. Okay, the teachers and the students both. The teacher can create a class using the Google Classroom, and on a day-to-day basis they can engage the students and them start quizzing them, also deliver the lectures like platforms like this over a period of time, take the feedbacks using the Google form. Similarly, students can also use collaborative tools like the Google Documents, wherein they will write their assignments and the teachers will go through and then they will guide the students how to write their assignments and submit. So likewise, a systematic orientation for both the teachers and the students is needed the most. And library can play a very important role in this part, because the libraries are trained in that way. So therefore, centering the library, this kind of activities can start in the as a preparedness for the post-COVID period. I hope. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hi. Hello.
Yes, Shobhidanda.
Yes.
Is it all right that already Dr. Marana gave the answer?
Thank you for answering.
Yes. Nilima Di, can you open your video?
Okay.
Yes, we are just crossing near about 3.5 hours. So hopefully we will be ending.
A short question to Sumunda. A short question.
Yes.
Hello, Sumunda. Hello.
You may proceed. Yes, it is audible. You may proceed.
It is audible. Yes.
My next question to Nimachal Shah sir. Swapon Kumar Bera asking 80 to 90% UG student of West Bengal depends on the subject-oriented textbooks, which are in Bengali version.
Hello.
Generally, the student borrows these books from the college library. In this pandemic situation, how will the college library provide such kind of service? Hello, sir.
See, actually, this is a right question and pertinent question, and thank you, Sapanda, for asking these questions. See, everything is unknown to us, and we are just walking through a darky days. And college students, particularly any Odisha, Assam, everywhere throughout India, whenever I'm talking, the documents in electronic version on regional languages is very scarce in nature. That's true. That is philosophy, political science, economics, Bengali version books is not available in the electronic format. It's true. But to some extent, by virtue of Bangladesh, they are the great nurturer of Bengali language. And that is a great website of BD Books. There we are having more than 20,000 Bengali version books, which is by birth, that is from Jivanananda to Sunil Gangopadhyay, and many books are available there. Then there is a kind of app, ABP Magazine app, by downloading from Play Store in the mobile apps. Anyone can read some sort of journal, but this is not the actual answer of your question. For your question, I think the college teachers during their class, when they use Bengali lecture, when they if you don't take it otherwise, many students are depending on the private tutor, like 4 pages photocopy note. Okay, so I am saying that whenever our students taking a lecture from a teachers on Bengali version, by listening that things, and there is many good software which will converted the MP3 to text. Okay, so in that way, library can convert that MP3 or audio to text pattern, and that will be appended or uploaded in the library things. And I think you'll be agreed with me, books on Tapan Bandyopadhyay Janaprashasan in Bengali, like political science, that is not 100% readable to any students. They are going by selective things and other things. So ekta 400 patar, let me just, I'm becoming in Bengali. Okay, so ekta 400 patar je boy text boy, সেখান থেকে ছাত্রছাত্রীরা তার odd and even semester যে selection, সেখান থেকে believe me, তারা প্রয়োজনীয় পড়ে যেটা সেটা হচ্ছে 80 থেকে 100 পাতা, as my experience is concerned. So এই সেই 50-60 পাতা বা কতগুলো চ্যাপ্টার তারা যখন বলছে, যদি আমরা হোয়াটসঅ্যাপ করে বা স্ক্যানে ডিজিটাইজ করে ওয়েবসাইটে আপলোড করতে পারি, আর টিচারদের ক্লাসগুলোকে যদি আমরা আপলোড করতে পারি, তাহলে আমার মনে হয় আমরা কিছুটা হলেও প্রবলেমটাকে অ্যাড্রেস করতে পারবো। আর আমরা শুরুতেই শুরু করার আগেই যদি প্রবলেমটা নিয়ে ঘরে বসে যাই, তাহলে মাই কলিগস, ছাত্রছাত্রীরা কি করবে বলুন? এই গরিব দেশ, বিপিএল তালিকা সম্পন্ন বাবা মা, তাদের জন্য আসুন আমরা সবাই মিলে, ইয়েস, আপনাকে যদি আপনার প্রিন্সিপাল বা অথরিটি না ইনফ্রাস্ট্রাকচার ডেফিনেটলি ইউ উইল নট এবল টু ডু। কিন্তু এখন দেখুন ওই যে আমাদের মহারানাদা বা পার্থদা বললেন যে আমরা ওসিএলসি থেকে, ইনক্যাট থেকে, ক্যাটালগিং ক্লাসিফিকেশন করার বহু হেল্প পেতে পারি সিআইপি ডেটা থেকে। ফর দ্যাট টাইম ইউ ক্যান সেভ। এবং আপনারা এই কাজে যেটু সময় নষ্ট করেন, এবং আমি কলেজ থেকে অনুরোধ করব এই সব কাজ যখন করতে হবে একটা আউটসোর্সিং যদি হ্যান্ডস, টেকনিক্যালি এক্সপার্ট হ্যান্ডস যদি লাইব্রেরির সাথে ট্যাগ করে দেওয়া যায়, তাহলে কিন্তু আমরা কিছুটা হলেও ভাত না হোক রুটি পেয়ে বা মুড়ি পেয়ে বেঁচে থাকার মতন আমরা একটু অ্যাডজাস্ট করতে। দিস ইজ মাই হাম্বল সাবমিশন। বিকজ আমাদের কান্ট্রি সিচুয়েশন থেকে স্যার ম্যাডাম একটু কনসিডার করে সিদ্ধান্ত নিতে হবে। মডেল সিচুয়েশন ইন্ডিয়া ক্যানট জেনারেট বাই another 10 years. Okay, so this is my humble submission. This may not be satisfactory answer to you, but I don't have anything by sitting in this conjuncture to ready-made answer for you. There is no more literature. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now,
I would like to request Dr. Nilima, ma'am, please ask the last question to Dr. Partha Sarathy.
yes, yes. Thanks. And now there is a question from Shubhro Das, which are asked to Dr. Partha Sarathy Das, that do you think that ebooks in ebooks
Connectivity problem is going on, Nilmadi. He has the connection, but it's not properly audible. It's lost, I think. Anyway, let us wait some time. Or sir, can you proceed?
So you to ask the question. Do you have the third question with you also? Somiran Babu.
Somiran Babu.
Sir, there is no more questions, sir.
Okay. Nilimadi again join. Yes, it's joining. Nilimadi joining. Nilimadi, yes.
Yes.
Yes. Put the question.
Yes. The last question is to Dr. From Shubhro Das. That is, do you think that ebooks is the substitute of textbooks during pandemic situation as well as after pandemic situation for BA, BSc, BCom students?
Good question. So there is an eternal confusion between e-books and print books. So I am giving you some data so that you can get your answer. So now if you see the global printing industry, only 95% of the books are in POD, that is print on demand. That is the publishers all over the world, globally they do not print books. Okay, so there are reasons, because see, there is the printing cost, delivery, everything is there, time. So most of the publishers, about 95% of the publishers, they are switching to e-mode, electronic mode. So if you ask me that what will be suitable for during the pandemic or even after the pandemic, I think that publishers, international publishers, most of the international publishers, they will stop print versions. They will stop the print ebooks and print journals. They are switching over to e-versions. And even the next part is the financial part. Even if you see the finance part also, ebooks are less costly than print books. So if you can compare these two factors and the time also, the delivery time, when you are importing some print book, foreign print books from outside, it will take nearly 45 to 60 days to come from outside. So if you get the e-books immediately after ordering, or if you after the payment. So there are reasons which actually makes the e-books more comfortable, more user-friendly, searchable, whatever you think. There are a lot of advantages of it. I think I can answer your question.
Nilimadi.
Hello.
Shomiranda, I think Professor Shomiran Noskar will deliver the vote of thanks, because already we have passed 3.5 hours, so it is quite difficult to now save the whole webinar because this webinar contains a huge amount of information about this understanding.
Okay, Sundar. Okay, Sundar. Okay, Sundar. And now we are at the concluding part of our national webinar, and it's the time for vote of thanks. Myself, Somiron. Has got to give the vote of thanks. At first, I am very much thankful to our honorable principal sir, Dr. Apurva Bandyopadhyay. Without his inspirations and guidance, it would not be possible to organize this national webinar. I convey my sincere thanks to our chief guest of honor, Dr. K. Kachusi, officer on special duty, National Library. It has been our pleasure that he has come forward and jointly collaborated with us. I like to convey my heartful thanks to Dr. B. Maharana, Professor, for joining as a resource person and for his valuable lecture. I am very much thankful to our resource person, Dr. Nimaijan Saha, University Librarian, Vishwa Bharati Shantiniketan, for his resourceful deliberations. And from the beginning, Dr. Saha has always helped us for success of this webinar. I like to thank Dr. Partha Das, Assistant Library and Information Officer, National Library, for his wonderful presentation as a research person and accepting our invitations and blessings for joint collaboration of this webinar. I am very much thankful Professor Mitali Gangopadhyay, IQAC Coordinator and HOD of Department of English, Mrinalini Datta Mahavidyapith, her continuous support and advices which have greatly helped towards the success of this webinar. My special thanks go to all the teaching and non-teaching staff of our college who have directly and indirectly involved with us. I also sincerely thank to the Honorable Director General of National Library of India and also the officers and other staff who have directly and indirectly supported this webinar. I must thank to all participants who have joined with us from beginning to end of this event and made this national webinar a great grand success. I convey my gratitude and heartfelt thanks to Dr. Suman Chakraborty, Professor, Department of Anthropology, and Sumit Bakchi, Professor of Computer Science, for their technical support. At last but not least, I am thankful to our colleague, Dr. Ninima Pal, librarian and joint convener. Without her coordination, cooperations, and total management, it would not be possible to our organization this national webinar today. I once again thank everyone whose contribution has made this webinar as a successful national webinar. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so before wrapping up this program, so from my side, I would like to congratulate all for this successful and lengthy webinar. And this webinar contains huge information, and we will try to post it in our YouTube page. So before ending this webinar, I have done one poll question here. Why did you decide to attend this event? There are I show the results to the all audience that that I want to learn these new things, speaker lineup, new talk opportunities for COVID-19 crisis, and it shows that 75% of the audience, the attendees, they came here to understand the new way of things, new way of learning to the digital library context. So for this particular point of view, I think this webinar is quite successful, and congratulations the organizers and all the resource persons who have joined and given us the valuable the informations for our learning. So I think this is the time to do work hardest, and aggressive preparedness is very important for our new normal situation. So for these notes, I'd like to wrap up them and close the program. Thank you all. Thanks everyone.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thanks.
Good day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.